Don't blink, it's your blink. Welcome to our show. Guys are doing well. So you guys are having a wonderful day on this 2nd May 2025. I'm coming in with bad news. This is why I'm kind of reticent to make this video. We started playing last week Bleach Brave Soul, and I really enjoyed the game. However, I didn't even give you guys my first thoughts. So I'm gonna do this video, and after that I'm gonna give you my first thoughts. It's crazy because we're giving up on the game. We're not gonna be playing Bleach Brave Soul anymore. I'm a fan of Bleach. This sucks. This really sucks. The reason as to why is Bleach is an amazing game. Do you know what? We'll do a longer videos. We'll give you my first thoughts. This is gonna be my first thoughts because we played 3 times, so this is still first thoughts. And I'm gonna give you why we're not gonna play it. So Bleach is a great game. Brave Soul is a phenomenal game. It is godly. It's such a good game. However, Bleach suffered from a very big problem. So we're gonna get into it later on. Bleach Brave Soul has its own character. There's so many version of Ichigo, so many version of Ulkoria, Uyu, Urohime, Shad, and I'm forgetting Uara and Yuichi. Why am I saying that? Because they're all part of the same town, right? All part of the beginning squad. Bleach also is really fun. The story is really good. You're missing some of the story because it's not as precise as reading the manga. However, you're getting the gist of it. You're getting a lot of information out of it, and that's really cool. It's a great game narratively. It's a great game for the mechanics. I don't like the arena. I don't like that. But I like the side mission. Yesterday we did Yorukiya training, and I laughed the whole time. Bleach is funny. So now you're like, dude, you seem like you like the game. Why are you giving up? Bleach suffered from this very, very thing, and I think this is something with Bleach. This is my curse with Bleach. I'm cursed with Bleach. I'm cursed. I'm never gonna be able to enjoy Bleach again. Bleach is my favorite first time manga. Bleach, one of the big 3. We're talking about 700 chapters. Is and always will be the very first manga I've read. Wasn't Naruto, wasn't, I think I've read, no, Bleach was Bleach wasn't the first one. Death Note was the first one, and then it was Soul Eater. But the problem with then it was Fullmetal Alchemist. The problem with Bleach was it was so long that I would go to my father's house and I would download 100 chapters. And what I would do is I would download the chapters for Death Note, for The Alchemist, and for we're just watching other things. So Bleach technically is the first manga that I finished, but it wasn't because it was so long. If Bleach was a bit shorter or the other manga a bit longer, I would have finished them quickly. Now Bleach, the first time you read Bleach, it is my favorite manga. It is amazing. I know I often say Tokyo Ghoul is my favorite manga. Then this is special. This is very special. My favorite manga is Tokyo Ghoul. My favorite anime is Attack on Titan. Between Attack on Titan and Brotherhood. So why am I not mentioning Bleach? Bleach, the first time you read it, it blows your mind. It blows your fucking mind. However, Bleach suffered from this very, very big thing. So spoiler, this is spoiler, right? Bleach has a lot of little increments. A little bit of a... so this is going to be a long video, so take a seat, sit down, we're going to have some fun. It has a lot of little elements of the story. For example, how does Horihime have power? How does Chad have power? Chad was a Fullbring. Orohime was, I don't remember why, I think she was a Fullbring too, but I'm not sure. So what ended up happening was, you'll learn that, right? What you end up learning is why Rukia body, the Gekai, is not good. And then you realize that everything was orchestrated by Aizen. So the problem with Bleach, and this is a great problem to have, it is very precise. It is extremely precise. So for example, little element, and this, before we continue, I have to specify one thing. I haven't read Bleach in 7 years. 7 years, ladies and gentlemen. And I still remember the fact that the mother of Ichigo would get killed. And this is really huge for Ichigo's character. This is why he's a badass. This is why he's sad. He lost a lot of his childhood or his kindness when his mother died. Now, he always think that he was the reason why she was killed because he had a lot of energy and she was killed by a hollow, but it's not true. At the end, we learned that Ichigo's mom is a Quincy, so she had a lot of energy, right? We learned that something happened with E-Watch, right? And because something happened with E-Watch, all the Quincy lost their full vein, and because she lost her full vein, she got attacked, right? Second, which is also important, learning that Ishin is the father of Ichigo and he's a captain, explain why he can be a Shinigami, right? Which is crazy because if there's a ultimate reality, there's an alternate timeline where his dad died and his mother survived, and Ichigo is a Quincy. And I think this is one of the coolest thing about Bleach. Ichigo could have been a Quincy, right? That's cool. That's cool as fuck. The place where it suffers a lot is, for example, with the Arankar, right? The Arankar, the story in itself. Okay. So a story like Naruto and is one of the big three, really improve on the second read. So, for example, the fact that Itachi is a good guy. So the whole time that you're reading the second time, you're telling Sasuke, don't want to kill your brother, dude. He's a good guy, right? With Bleach, you don't have that. Bleach suffer from a one-minded directive. So if I had to, I'm a picture guy. I'm a really big picture guy. Okay. So we have these, right? And you see all of the crease. This is actually perfect. I'm visual. I'm excited because this is the first time in a week that I've not been depressed. And I don't know why, but let's enjoy it. So you see this paper? Super crease, right? There's a number of crease, and you got the little increment. Every single crease is a bit of part of a story, right? And then you open it, right? And all you need to do is a bit of knowledge. And there you go. One clear straight line. And this is Bleach. This is why I can't like Bleach anymore. Because I was so in love with Bleach that and the craziest thing is I got involved with Bleach at 22 and 20 years old. I was in Cancun. I was getting into mangas when my friend Tommy read the manga by heart, and he knew it by heart. And I was like, how did you know that? Like, oh, you'll understand it if you read it. And he was right. I cannot be surprised with Bleach anymore. I'll be reading the story next year, and I'll still remember every single element. Now, again, the problem with Bleach is one of the biggest mindfuck is Aizen is a bad guy. When you know that Aizen is a bad guy, there's not a mindfuck, there's not a plot twist. Bleach suffer from such a clear plot that when the plot twists are untwisted, you can't twist them back. That's the biggest problem with Bleach. So all of this to say what? All of this to say, I'm gonna give you guys a couple more examples because I'm really liking this. So for example, we got the villain card, which is ex-captain, right? And you think they're a group of people. At first, you're led to believe that they're a group of people that were victims of Hollow, and they're like Bleach. They're like Ichigo. And then you learn that they used to be ex-captain, right? You see, for example, you see that you understand why Rukia, she likes Ichigo so much because he looks like Shiba. You realize why Byakuya took Ryuka. You realize that Uryu will choose Ichigo at the very end. So there's constantly plots. For example, right? Uryu choosing Ichigo at the end. Uryu always have this almost Vegeta Goku relationship, right? So okay, we'll put it like that. You know what? This is a perfect example also. This is how clear my memory of Bleach is. With Goku and Vegeta ends up being a good guy. You know that. But Vegeta does so much horrible shit that you don't believe. Even if you read it 3 times, 4 times, like what an asshole. What a fucking asshole. But with Uryu has a lot of redeeming quality. He's a very heroic. He goes to sacrifice himself to save a Shinigami. He goes to save himself to save Rukia. And although it's a great plot point because why is he helping? When he at the end he chooses Ichigo, you're like, okay, well I kind of knew that he was gonna do that, right? The Arankar are super nice. The 10 of them are super nice. However, they'll take a plot, like a scene where, and I think Bleach's main problem is also that they're trying too hard to do fuck you moments. So for example, you have 10 Arankar, and there's, I think it's like 4 of them or 5 of them that goes in to fight battles. Also, the best thing about Bleach, for example, Soul Society, right? You got the Doctor versus Oreo. You got this guy versus Renji. You got Kenpachi versus Ishigo. You got a lot of characters versus each other, right? You got Shisui versus Shadow, right? Versus Chad. It's great, but their match, for example, One Piece also does that. One Piece also does this. They'll put a swordsman versus Zoro. They'll put a fighter, a karate fighter versus Sanji, right? They do that a lot, you know? And it's like a mismatch. And then you remember that, okay, well, Zoro's gonna win because he's the better swordsman, right? And then, like, not really. Well, who was the very last battle that Zoro had? It was King, the second hand of Kaido. He was still a swordsman, right? So it suffers a lot from that. That was G Fuel. That was very strong. So that's my main issue with. That is my main issue with Bleach. There's no surprise anymore. There's no thrill anymore, right? Bleach is a great story, and again, I think this is such a good quality. The Bleach. So it's complex. It's very complex. Okay, so I told you that's gonna be a long video, and I meant it. Bleach is an amazing story that you can read once and remember. Naruto you can read 4 or 5 times. Okay, so you know what's crazy? You have to believe me. Please believe me. I've read Naruto, I want to say 5 times, the whole thing, and there's still plot of Naruto that I forgot. There's still plot of Naruto that didn't wow me. But Bleach, since it's all leading to a point from point A to point B, you kind of remember. So we're playing Tokyo Ghoul, which again is my favorite manga to read. And Tokyo Ghoul was really good, but my playthrough wasn't going nowhere because they. So what they would do is they would do a new meta. So for example, they released this new character, and for you to get this new character, they made this new character super strong. So it was constantly, hey, you know, and we know that we released a super strong character last week, but here's an even stronger character this week. That way you have a reason to get this character, which I understand. It was still fun until they put the level max. I played the game for 4 months. 4 months, guys. And we already have a level max. What the fuck? Oh, by the way, I played the game 2 days after its release. So before you tell me, bro, it's normal, it's not normal. We replaced it with Temple of Shadow, which was a Naruto game, an application. Naruto suffered from not having enough story. Bleach, main part of the story. And again, I'm sorry if you don't agree with me. I think the fighting is really fun. I think the gameplay is really fun. The fact that you can do auto is really fun. But the main fun of Bleach Brave Soul is the story. And this is the worst part about Bleach because you know the story by heart. So I'm not interested enough in the battle to not care about the story. And I care too much about it. I remember too much about the story to enjoy the story. And this is the simple reason why we're giving up on Bleach. I'm sorry.